Hi guys, Veggie Gamer back, and finally, yes, finally, I can't believe how many months we've been doing this, but guys, we are finally covering the last chunk of Danganronpa 3 VEGGIEKNIGHTS, which means that V3 is on its way, guys. Finally, we got there. I am so sorry how long this has taken me, guys. I think you've all known 2020 has not been a particularly good year for me. It hasn't been a good year for most people, guys, obviously. I've had a lot of struggles to deal with. And things to get used to and so on, and so that's why it's been so delayed, but we're finally here now. Thank you all so much for your support on this series, guys. I'm so sorry it's taken me so long. I got to admit, I have got several things wrong throughout these episodes, guys, so I appreciate the comments correcting me and giving your opinions as well, because it seems like, I think most people have very different opinions of Danganronpa 3 than I do. I gotta say, I really enjoyed the future arc at the end of it. The despair arc we'll go into a little bit more. I do like these this last episode, yes, the last episode that we need to cover today, more than the previous couple. But yes, guys, before we get started, any chance to get this video to exactly 200 likes exactly, let's start with the penultimate future episode. Now, this starts to confuse me, guys. I think that they could have easily cut an episode out of the future arc, just so it's even with the despair arc, and then just had the last episode being a future arc. I don't get why the last episode has to be a hope arc. It's not a hope arc, it's the end of the future arc story. Well, I guess it's the end of technically both the stories. But that's complete waffle. We start off with the end of Danganronpa 1, guys. Now, this at first was like, oh, awesome, we get to see what's on the other side of the door. I've got to say, this is my issue with the despair arc in particular, is that sometimes not seeing... sometimes... seeing can... there's a good term for it. Basically, we didn't need to see the worst event in human history. We didn't have to see what Makoto saw when the doors open. They decided to go with it. I feel the problem is that it was never going to live up to the expectation of the game player's mind, and so in this canon, this is what they see, and the world is wrecked, guys. The Future Foundation guys are watching in via cameras. Boxer Dude's looking very annoyed, which at the time I was very, very confused by. But yes, it's hard to explain what I mean, guys. I'm trying to think of another good example where you just don't need to see how something happened, you know? But yeah. Maybe your opinions are different like that, but not to see how things happen, sorry, but in this particular case, I feel like the end of Danganronpa 1 is actually really nice, the fact that we don't know what it is they see. In this, we see what it is that what they saw, and it kind of takes away from that moment, just in my personal opinion, but that's such a minor little thing to mention. Okay, so they read through Kayako's diary that Hina found, and Kayako has essentially worked out, guys, the fact that people are actually doing themselves in this killing game, and it has something to do with the television locations, and so naturally they're thinking, okay, so they're killing themselves, televisions, they go and smash the television up, and they find a knife dropping out, completely confirming the theory. Oh no, sorry, that isn't what happened at all. Makoto, for some reason, I've asked some VEGGIEKNIGHTS this, and they can't give me a clear answer. For some reason, Makoto says, so that's the theory, is it? Let's test that theory by having me tied down and watching a television. He nearly freaking killed himself, guys, because I cannot understand why he did this, guys. Why didn't they just smash a television? You can't tell me, oh, maybe that was against the rules, like in the first Danganronpa game, there's no breaking of school equipment. Nope, because they break the television anyway afterwards. Was it after the handcuffs came off? It bloody wasn't after the handcuffs came off. They smashed the television whilst they had the handcuffs on, VEGGIEKNIGHTS. Bracelets. So yes, for some reason, Makoto decides, so if they watch this video, they'll want to try and kill themselves. You know what? I'm going to watch that video. Anyway, all that aside, it was for a very good reason, VEGGIEKNIGHTS. I got a theory about Danganronpa 3 in general, guys, is that they came up with some really cool idea for scenes, and then thought, okay, how can you write a storyline around it? So yeah, I feel like this is like the ultimate example of it, because this is an awesome scene, guys. So Makoto, to test the theory, Kaiko's always right. You should know this. Oh yeah, one of the Veggie's did say that it's because Makoto's a moron. And that's a good point, guys. In Danganronpa 3, Makoto's been a lot more sharper than he was in Danganronpa 1, and so I guess that's a fair reason Makoto's a moron. But yes, he watches the video. Nice little reference to Danganronpa 1 with an in-between day, like, dream thing that we're seeing. I gotta say, it's a really nice visual of, like, being inside someone's mind. It's very beautiful coloured and everything, and then Sayaka and Kayako show up, like, saying, hey, how come you're alive and we're dead? It should be you that's dead. And then all the other Danganronpa 1 characters arrived. Really awesome scene. It obviously gave me chills when I was watching it. I thought, it's a brilliant scene, guys. Like I say, I feel like this is one of the scenes where they came up with the idea of the scene before they wrote the series, if you know what I mean. One minor little gripe is Celeste did not die from fire. Technically, we know that she didn't, guys. We saw her get hit by a freaking truck. But yes, and they're all like saying, hey, kill yourself. So Makoto gets free of his ropes. Thanks, Hina. Actually, no, not thanks, Hina. It's Makoto's fault. He shouldn't have been doing it. And he's about to stab himself when blooming boxer guy comes along, saves the day. And he doesn't explain why he was angry in this intro, because he wasn't watching the intro, but he like says how he hated Makoto for defeating Junko, because it's something that he should have done, back before the whole event started, which goes into what I was saying last time about him coming out and everything, guys. I do feel like I got the wrong end of the stick, and so I hope I didn't seem insensitive during that, guys. I know it's very different in Japan, particularly when it comes to that sort of thing. We see that he has removed his hand to get his bracelet off. Yeah, and like, they're basically talking about the theory of the television city people insane. We see all the other characters killing themselves. It's a really horrible freaking visual, guys. It really is. Boxer Dude talks about Yu Murakami turning on him. I gotta say, guys, this relationship between Yu Murakami and Boxer, like a couple of episodes ago, I would not have believed that I would have cared so much as I do about this relationship. But I really do, guys. I think that they actually ended up to be both be really interesting characters with a really interesting dynamic. And so, Yu says that the old dude is behind the whole setup. The animator starts acting sus because there's this whole relationship between the old dude and the animator, which only gets revealed in the last episode, I believe. Where they're like almost like a third party working together for something else, which we'll get into in the coming episodes. Yeah, Boxer Dude goes off by his own, like saying how like Murakami betrayed him and everything. It's really sad, guys. He turns. I don't know why he didn't turn this off before, because he found this room earlier. But he turns the power off to the building. Yeah, he turns the power off to the building with his like dying breath, basically, as Yu Murakami runs to him during the outro, guys. Which is actually a pretty beautiful scene, guys. I mean, the outro music is great in the Future arc, I should say. But it really fitted this perfectly, and like I say, I did not realise I was going to care this much about these two characters, but I actually really did. This was actually really nicely done. I gotta say, the Future Foundation had some great moments in it, and this was like a very powerful moment for me, especially as, like I say, a few episodes ago, I wasn't a big fan of either of these characters, but they absolutely turned me around in the end. Bracelets come off all the survivors, and the animator gets a text from the old dude who died earlier on in the series, which is very suspicious. I wonder what that will be. We'll get into that later on in this video. And so finally, guys, and I got to say, I am happy for this. We're finally doing the last Despair episode. I've not been a big fan of this series, guys. It started off so well. I know that some of my opinions are very different from yours, guys. Thank you all so much for telling me your thoughts on this. Everyone's different, guys. But there is one thing in this episode which I could not believe how awesome it is, so we'll get to that soon. But yes, we start off with the Remnants of Despair in their classroom acting like nothing's really happened, and then like Chiesa sets a bomb off or something. We have Junko and Mikuru on and Izuru. I always forget his name. Hajime. You know what I'm talking about, guys. On the roof, like watching Hope's Peak from the distance. As bad things start to happen, guys. Mikuru is completely when it comes to things like Star Wars, guys, I don't let the things like the prequels and the sequels ruin my opinions of the original trilogy, guys, which is, in my opinion, the only canon that exists for Star Wars. But with Danganronpa 3, I can't unsee what they did to Mikuru, guys. She's a weak-ass comedy character in this, and she was so scary. Actually scary. Even though we actually never actually saw her, well, we did technically, but we didn't actually see her moving around on Danganronpa 1. Her mystique has been completely destroyed. I know that some of you found this Mikuru very funny and everything, and liked how they did it. For me, they ruined a character who went up, in my estimation, hugely as soon as we discovered her on Danganronpa 1. Yeah, it's kind of hindered the character, guys. It really kind of has. So she gets kicked in the butt. Very nice. Funny. Hat Dude, Old Dude, and Kayako's father are in an office discussing what they're going to do with the Danganronpa 1 cast, how they're going to isolate them all away and everything. There's a nice bit between the father and Hat Dude. The father like saying, hey, if this project fails, be sure to look after Kayako. It's a bit weird. I mean, the reason why I say it's a bit weird is that, you know, Kayako could have just, like, you know, they could have just gone and grabbed her and, like, the Hat Dude could have looked after her then. But that's such a ridiculous nitpick. You know what, guys? Ignore what I just said. That's stupid. But yeah, nicely between these three either way. Then we have the moment, guys. Now, this moment literally made me stop watching it, and I had to go and message, like, some people who watched the show before and everything that I knew about, like, saying, oh my god, did you get this reference? This reference, guys, blew my mind. If you knew this going in, sorry, if you knew this reference going into Danganronpa 3, let me know what you thought when this came out, because this is amazing in my opinion, guys. So, Junko sent off a text. Is this... I've skipped a bit here, guys. Yes, no, so yeah, the mob has broken into the school, and they're, like, going around killing all the students and everything. I'm such a misery guts. I really am, but I just find... I feel like the emotion that I'm meant to be feeling in these scenes just didn't work for me for some reason. So, this is the moment, guys. So, Junko sends off a text, triggering a video to be played to the mob, and the mob start jumping out the window. Now, when that message gets sent, the first thing that pops up on the screen for all the members of the mob is the message, Monokuma's Gloomy Sunday. I could not believe that this was in Danganronpa 3, guys. So basically, I've got some research here, guys, but I knew about it beforehand. I just want to make sure that when I explain it to you guys, I've got it exactly right. So, in 1933... a Hungarian composer called Rezo Szeress, which is a fantastic name, wrote a song. Apparently it was originally known as The World Is Ending, but it ended up being very well known as the Hungarian Suicide Song. Now this is a song which allegedly, it's a urban myth, Veggieeknights. A lot of completely sensible, happy people, when they heard this song for the first time, just killed themselves out of the blue. Just for no apparent reason, just did themselves in. This is a falsehood. Obviously, it didn't actually happen, but it's got this, like, you know, this notorious theme to it. Billie Holiday did a version of it in 1941. Billie Holiday is a fantastic singer, Veggieeknights. I recommend checking her out. She's an absolutely beautiful voice. But yes, I think Billie Holiday probably is the most famous version of it. But yes, the fact that that is referenced in Danganronpa 3, of all things, is mind-boggling. And you know what? It makes me love the Despair arc more than I did before, guys, because that is an unbelievably deep cut reference there. I'd imagine that 90.9% of the people watching that have no idea what that message is referring to. And so that made me super happy, and that's why I had to go and rush off and say, hey, did you know about this? So yes, the mob starts killing themselves. Danganronpa 1 cast are, like, blocking out the windows. As we know in Danganronpa 1, they are the ones who blocked out the windows and everything, so they couldn't get in, or no, they couldn't get out and no one could get in. We got nice little references, like Mondo helping Chihiro out with a box. I love those two so much, guys. If you're new here, guys, or at least relatively new here, I have done a top 16 Danganronpa 1 and 2 lists on the channel, guys. And so if you want to see in what order I rank all the characters, go and check out those videos. I can't say that because it'll spoil the number 16, by the way. Yeah, so they're all working on like fixing the place up. Junko and Makuru are like talking about Makoto and how he's really lucky and everything. Junko tries to kill Makoto, and Makoto like slips over on something as like this huge wrench goes flying past his head. There's a line which when I first watched this, apart from the Gloomy Sunday thing, when I first watched this, I was kind of done, and I was like, yeah, okay, let's just end this, can we get back to the future arc and everything? And so I think that I misread a line that Junko says here. Junko like says that she's not going to kill Makoto, even though she just tried to, because the ultimate despair that she can imagine is Makoto defeating her plan. When I first heard that line, I thought, well, that makes the first game completely pointless, thanks. But you know what, I think I'm being a bit unfair there. I still don't think it's a very good line, but yeah, it's like, I hope the video game happens. It's like, I didn't like it. But anyway, I was being unfair on it. It's not that bad. We see the despair versions of Peiko, Fuyuhiko, Akane, and Sonia. No one else. I would have thought you should have. At this point, it's the last despair episode. Show everyone in their element. We saw it in the intro to the future arc. We saw all the despair. I feel like we should have seen all the despair here. Also, Akane just standing near some dead guys in an alleyway. We had no idea. I mean, it looks like they were bad people. I have no idea if they're bad people, but yeah, I would like to see all of them. At this point, show all of them. You know, it's one thing. I think I'll go into this in my notes later on, guys. But this, I wouldn't say suffers, but it has something which a lot of anime have, where you can clearly see where the budget's been put, I should say. Like the first Future of a Nation episode where it shows all the despair and everything. It's really nicely animated. Everything looks unbelievably cool. And then at the end of the despair arc, we just have some still images of Peiko, Fuyuhiko standing there, Akane standing there, Sonia standing there. The last episode of the entire thing, the Hope episode, it's clear that a lot of money went into the animation of that. And then other episodes, not much went in, guys. I'd say Persona 4 suffers from this as well, which I love Persona 4 anime, guys. But some episodes, even the drawings of the characters just look weird. Like, they got really weird noses and stuff like that. But like I say, I think that it's just like the budget goes towards the important parts. I would have considered the end of the despair arc when we actually see, particularly what happens in the Hope arc episode, in fact, we should be seeing all the despair in their element at this point in the series. It would have made that final payoff even more satisfactory, in my opinion. We then get the end theme, VEGGIEKNIGHTS, and then we have a little short intro to Danganronpa 2, where Hajime is meeting Chieso. It's a very nice scene. Very nice reference. Well, not reference, it's just a scene from the game. I gotta say this, I don't think I said this at all, guys, but one of my my favourite thing about the Despair arc is the outro music. I think it's absolutely awesome. It's brilliant. All the Danganronpa 3 music is actually really good, guys, but particularly that is my favourite. And you know what? I've heard that it's sung by Nagato, which is fine. It's fine. It's an awesome song, and you know what? It actually makes me like Nagato a bit more anyway. And I have said previously, I do prefer Nagato in Danganronpa 3 than I did in Danganronpa 2. Just my opinion. That's the final Despair episode out of the way, guys. Let's move back to the Future arc. So now into the final Future arc, guys. I gotta say, I've made some notes, more notes than ever, in fact, for these episodes before recording. And some of the things I'm looking back at, I think I got a little bit wrong. It turns out that the old dude did watch the Despair video. I think at this point it's still a bit of a mystery, but they watch a video with him talking about how like everyone is being turned to despair, and he seems to be happy about it. We then had the animator breaking down and thinking about what he's done and what he's caused happening with the fact that he worked on the videos for Junko, and like Junko used those videos to take those abilities, I guess the wrong term, away to use for her own good. I've got here that we get way too many flashbacks. I guess at this point we need these flashbacks because it is really the crux of the entire show. This is where the two arcs come together. But it did feel a little excessive. It basically showed the entirety of the anime again. But that's the whole thing of it all, you know, weighing on the animated dude on his conscience. So animated dude goes to go off to sort this all out and everything. And he uses a hypnotic video on Hina to stop Makoto from following him. You could argue, hey, why not use it on both of them? But this is an anime, guys. If he did that, then there wouldn't be a storyline. And so that's why he didn't. Nicely, it shows what his bracelet was, and it was that he wasn't allowed to use his talent, so he couldn't use this video up until this point. Which really is awesome, guys. The entire time he's probably been thinking, damn it, if only I could use this bloody thing and it would be fine. But yeah, he wasn't allowed to do it until the thing came off. The special forces team come raiding into the building. The animator dude shows this video to the captain, who then makes it... they're all wearing visors, which is very sus, but nice. I don't know why they're all wearing visors, but these computer display visors, and so that the captain sees the Hope video. So I should say the Hope video basically makes does what he can tell people what to do once they watched this video. And so that video then gets broadcast to all the attacking raiding group. And he says to kill anyone who tries to stop him from getting the Hope video to be pushed out to the world of Midnight. Yuna Akami rejoins the group after finding the boxer dude, of course. And yeah, they discuss how old dude was actually this entire time, most probably, trying to get this Hope video pushed to the world. But then the killing game stopped him from being able to do it, and so this whole meeting at the start of Danganronpa 3 was for the animator dude to get this video to old dude. But obviously that didn't turn out. I think I may have something wrong there, guys. It is a little bit confusing, all that. But Yuna Akami starts taking out loads of troops as Hina and Makoto chase after the animator. Hina gets shot in the leg and tells Makoto to go on without her. A nice little touch here. I'm not sure if it is 100% accurate, but the animator dude sets a 30-minute timer. Now, I think that might actually be in real time, guys, because we only have one more episode to go, and the episodes are less than half an hour long. And so I don't know if the makers of the show made this happen on purpose, but it is pretty close to being exactly 30 minutes until that timer runs out, guys. And so if that's the case, that's actually really, really awesome. Everyone gets surrounded. Captain Frizz and Byakuya show up. Togami's soldiers start taking out the raiding troops. And we see a shot of Hajime walking through the building, guys. At least Hajime is here, and so that is that is the last. Well, we're actually done, guys. That is the last feature episode, guys. So now we're moving on to the Hope episode. Very exciting. And here we go, guys. The final episode of Danganronpa 3. We're finally there, guys. Special forces drop in on the Future Foundation building. They all look so awesome, and they've got their own little traits and skills and everything. You get the impression that they are ultimates as well, which is very cool. I thought that one of them was Leon at first, but it definitely wasn't. Obviously not, he's dead. Hajime is standing over Chies's body and remembers what Chiaki said to him about talent not mattering in a person. He now has one red eye, which is obviously a very nice touch and reference to his other self. And yeah, he lets it slip, guys, that he was actually able to save everyone from Danganronpa 2, which is, I did not see that coming at all, guys. I mean, that is an awesome payoff. Yeah, I was so delighted that they actually all, at least in this canon, survived Danganronpa 2. So that's really awesome. They all appear to be back to their normal selves as well. Makoto is getting escorted by soldiers, I think. Oh, no, he's getting escorted by Byakuya's lot, where a lot of the other forces show up and are shooting down Makoto's group, when suddenly Nagato comes along and kills loads of them. Now, he may not kill them, guys, but he basically accidentally makes this massive avalanche happen right onto them. I'm guessing they're not dead, because there is a theme in this episode where no one's actually dying, guys. Everyone is just getting either scared away or knocked out or so on and so forth. No one's actually getting killed, which I think is very, very nice touch. It shows that that the remnants of despair have truly overcome despair, because they're not killing anyone, which I think is awesome. So I'm guessing they're not dead. But yes, Nagato now has a robot arm, obviously replacing the arm which he cut off to replace the Junko's, I believe, on Danganronpa 2. We get a shot of chunky Yu Narukami, which is very exciting. We finally get to see Peko fighting. This is what I'm talking about, guys. The budget is clearly so much better in this episode than most of the rest of the series. And like I say, that is the case with a lot of anime at times, but it really, really shows here. Everything looks spectacular, all the fighting scenes and everything like that. Ryuhiko is still missing his eye, which to me, I can't quite get my head around. I feel like that's incorrect, but it probably is correct, because he loses it in the game. And you do sustain the injuries in the game, but you get put into a state of... I'm a little bit confused by that. I'm a little bit confused by why his eye's still gone, but I'm sure you can explain it in the comments. We get Tanaka versus the ultimate Vulcaner, which apparently is a real term, VEGGIEKNIGHTS, and scares... no, he doesn't even scare, he just convinces the guy's Falcon to just come over to his side, just awesome. Again, no violence used. We get Nekomaru and Soda taking out this big machine with loads of little Mechamarus. There's so many references here, guys, it's so nice. We get a really cool knife and fire dude against Turutu and Akane. Again, what I'm saying about the animation here is really slick, so much better than the rest of the series. We get a creepy knife girl about to take out Hayako, where Mikan comes along and saves the day with this huge injection. And Hayako's actually nice to Mikan, guys, and so whatever Hajime did, it must have worked freaking well, because that would have happened before. And so yeah, we get From Me to You 2 being played by Ibuki, to loads of like these special forces, and they're like, obviously they can't stand the music, the hearing of it, the sound of it. I think it's like it's a sniper is just about to take out Ibuki, where Mahiro takes a photograph and saves the day, guys. I love the fact that, like, even in a despair form, like, taking the photograph is such an important thing when it comes to Mahiro. And then we get Ibuki and Mahiro like high-fiving. I got to say, guys, and I should have mentioned this before, earlier on in the Despair series, I feel like Ibuki lost her personality in Danganronpa 3 and inherited Mahiro's. Because she's always having to go at the guys, and that's something that Mahiro always did in Danganronpa 2. Whereas Mahiro is like almost like a shell of her character. And you know I love Mahiro, guys. Again, check out my top 16 lists. But she's really missing her edge, and I feel like Ibuki is taking that edge. And also, at least in the English dialogue, Ibuki isn't even referring to herself as Ibuki. She's just referring to herself as me. Not me, as her. So yeah, I felt this entire time that the one person that they have got wrong in the Despair arc has been Ibuki. But now I think about it, it is like she's kind of like inherited Mahiro's personality, really, because she's having to go at the guys, mostly Turu, to be fair, consistently, well, in the few scenes that we see those students in the Despair arc. But either way, that's a complete tangent. And so we then have like the group confronting the animator dude, guys, who's like standing over the timer. I should say that, guys, the timer is to push the Hope video live to the world, guys. And like the timer is running out rapidly, and they're all there just calmly talking to him. It's a really nice scene, guys. Animator just blames himself completely for everything that happened, and it's a really, really nice dialogue. And like they're saying about how, you know, eternal hope is not a good state to be in, guys. There's no grief, there's no living when you're just feeling that hope all the time. And so they finally convince him to stop the countdown and to join them, join the group. It's really sweet, guys. It really is. I gotta say, the animator, I kind of regret was not in a video game. I think that his character could have been done even better in a video game. I feel like it was done very well in Danganronpa 3, but at the end of the day, guys, it's like a 12 episode anime. Whereas in a game, they could have really fleshed out this whole guilt aspect of it, but no, keep the secret that he feels this guilt and everything, for it to all come out at the end. Yeah, he's a brilliant character, guys, and I feel like he'd be worthy of being in an official Danganronpa series game. But yeah, and so he joins the group. It's very, very sweet with like the ultimate imposter like holding him as he's crying and everything. It's very, very sweet, guys. So yeah, and one really nice thing is Makoto gets there in time, but doesn't enter the room. He just stands outside listening, and so he lets the Danganronpa 2 lot solve the problem. It's really sweet. This is a great finale to this series, guys. To the series as a whole, I thought this was absolutely awesome. So as they're all leaving, we get like a face-off with Hajime and Makoto. They don't exchange words or anything. And Mikan approaches Makoto of all people and is about to tell him something where suddenly Nagato comes along and shoves her. I think he shoves her. I think she falls off something, in fact. And Nagato's like gushing about how the fact that they're like hope buddies and stuff like that, but Makoto's better than him, and typical Nagato stuff and everything. So that was really nice bit of an exchange there. The Danganronpa 2 lots do a Batman Dark Knight by saying that they, like, putting out to the world that they were the ones who set up this killing game, and like, you know, and they're going to go off and like say, hey, we'll be back, but in reality they actually are the ones who saved the day, which is awesome. It takes the blame off anyone. It much like in the Dark Knight, it basically keeps the hope alive, even if that hope had been crushed, you know, with, spoiler alerts, Two-Face in Dark Knight. I really liked Two-Face in the Dark Knight. I thought it was brilliantly done. I really did. And yeah, the group sets sail. We get a really nice bit with Hajime and, I say ghost, it's obviously just Hajime's memory of Chiaki talking. It's really, really sweet, guys. It really is. And I really like Chiaki, guys. For most of Danganronpa 2, she wasn't my gig, but she went up in my estimation huge at the end. And you know what? Danganronpa 3 made her go even higher up in my estimation. So this was a really sweet scene. Like I say, it's not a ghost. It's Hajime's memory of her, which is the entire point. Yunarikami says he's going to go off to live with his uncle and his uncle's daughter in Inaba, and leaves the scene. The ultimate animator destroys his phone, meaning that, you know, that hope animation can never be used again. Toko and Kumaru have left the city, guys, which is kind of like something which just wasn't like, you know, there was no like real sort of like, hey, they did it, and there was no embrace of Makoto and Kumaru, you know, finally getting back together again in the flesh. I guess because they had so much to fit in, maybe they could have had this episode being a little bit longer. Maybe that would have helped a little bit, but yeah, that seemed like it was a little bit brushed off. But it's fine, I guess. You can't have everything. And yeah, it's just a really nice, happy ending. Like all like the remnants of despair on the boat, eating barbecue and so on. Seiko apparently made a potion, which stops the poison of the bracelets activating. Which is kind of out of the blue. Apparently she made it while she was there. I don't know why she didn't use it on herself, and then people would be able to walk in the shadows. And Kayako's alive. We will discuss that shortly, guys. Makoto is now the principal of Hope's Peak Academy as well, which is a nice little... I don't really get why, but it's nice enough. It's nice enough. It's a nice little wrap-up. But yes, Kayako's alive, guys. So let's go on to my overall thoughts of Danganronpa 3. So my overall thoughts, guys. I thoroughly enjoyed the future arc. After it got started, the first episode I thought was this is a bit of a weird way of introducing all these wacky characters all in a dark room with them all looking brooding and everything. But it got much better as it went on, guys. I ended up really caring about some of those characters, which I did not think I'd care about at all. So yeah, I really enjoyed the future arc. I got frustrated with the despair arc, guys, and quite frankly, if you've been on the channel for a while, guys, you know that some bad things have happened to me throughout this year, guys, and when I was watching this, I didn't need to be watching such depressing stuff like the despair arc. So that probably did affect my opinion of it a bit. I've got to say, guys, I apologize about the lighting in this video. The sun is doing all sorts of things. I have my own lighting rig and everything, but the outside lighting is really playing around with it. So I'm sorry if it looks a little bit weird in there. I do not think, and this is going to be a comment which I think most people are going to disagree with me about, but I do not think that Junko, without Monokuma, is that good a villain. In my opinion, guys, I feel like Monokuma is a fantastic villain. And Danganronpa without Monokuma is just not the same. It's the same, I would say the same with Ultra Despair Girls as well, guys. Like, the Monokuma-esque characters that we had in that were not that great. And I did like Monika as a villain, but she's no Monokuma, guys. And so, I think Junko's better than Monika as a villain in this, but at the same time, I didn't enjoy her scenes, guys. I really did. I thought the English voice actor for her was trying to ruin the scenes in some points. But, yeah. It didn't work for me, and I think that most people are going to disagree with me, which is fine, guys. It's fine to disagree. I'm glad you enjoyed it more than me if you did enjoy it more than me. But, yes, I just want Monokuma back as a villain, guys. It's been since Danganronpa 2. I guess we'll find out in Danganronpa 3. But yeah, V3 I should say. Like I said earlier on in the episode, a lot of it did feel like great scenes surrounded by a storyline that didn't 100% make sense or really land with me. Yeah, I will take away great scenes from it. And I guess that a lot of people would see the scene which I ranted about a few episodes about with the upperclassmen and so on being a great scene. But then you have the scene with the Danganronpa 1 lot also coming back in Makoto's nightmare. You have the scene with like the remnants of the Spare being evil, and then the remnants, then the Danganronpa 2 guys being like, you know, reborn as their previous selves and like saving the day and everything. There are some great scenes, but the storyline which didn't completely land for me. But at the same time, like I say, I really enjoyed the future arc, guys. I really did. I didn't expect to as much as I did. I've got a weird theory, guys, and I'm sure this is wrong. But I don't know if you've seen the movie Naked Gun 2. If you haven't seen the Naked Gun movies, guys, you have to. They are freaking hilarious. But there is a character, guys, who is an imposter. And you know when, like, the imposter in Danganronpa 3 removes his mask and he's got like that that longish black hair? He has that hair in Danganronpa 2, guys. In Naked Gun 2, guys. And so this imposter does. And so I wonder if that's the most obscure reference ever. I mean, that would be a much more obscure than the Gloomy Sunday thing. But yeah, if that's a reference to Naked Gun 2, well done for putting that in, whoever you did, because that is obscure. Because he does look a bit like him, guys. I'm going to have a comparison on the screen now. Yeah, like I say, the animation was great where it counted. Other than that, there was a lot of still images and so on and so forth, but it didn't really, I can't think of any moment where it really stuck out for me as ruining scenes. But, you know, when we'd get like countless flashbacks and very, very long scenes where nothing's happening and filler scenes, it is like, well, you know, did we really need this? Could it not be a little bit more tighter and everything? And so maybe that's where, like, the budget and the animation was getting shifted around. And a lot of fights happened off screen as well, which is why it was really great to see Peiko finally fighting for once. And yeah, the final note that I have on my notes, guys, for Danganronpa 3. The future arc has no balls. It has no balls, guys. Look at it. I'm going to show you a chart now. We got the Danganronpa 1 characters, the survivors from Danganronpa 1. We have a character from another game series. We have the Danganronpa Future Foundation Future Arc new characters, and this this is who survives and this is who dies. Now, granted, I'm delighted that Hina didn't die. I'm kind of happy that Kyoko didn't die, but I feel like her death was actually really nicely done. The fact that she knew it was coming. But it turns out, well, she knew that she was going to be surviving it anyway because she'd taken Peiko's thing. And so why she didn't mention that to the rest of the group, because this isn't something that Mikan did on Kayako. Kayako did it to herself, and Mikan found her in that state, I believe. And so I don't know why she didn't mention to the rest of the guys, like, hey guys, I've just taken this. My thing is that I'm going to die tonight, but don't worry, because I've taken the potion, so I'm just going to be passing out. Maybe it was to wheel Makoto on or anything, but it nearly broke Makoto, guys. And so it's insane that only the animator of the new characters survived. Because obviously, like, all the other characters are either from Danganronpa 1 or from another game series. And all the Danganronpa 1 characters survived. I wonder if, when they were posting this, like, how do you say it? Pitching. When they were pitching this series, they're like, yeah, and we're going to have Danganronpa 1 characters in there. Like, the people up top, like, said, yeah, okay, you can have them, but don't kill any of them off. Because we may want to use them later on. And so it felt like that to me. The fact that no one died. Or, like, was, in physically changed in any sort of way, yeah, the fact that Kyoko died. It was like, oh, Kyoko's died. Oh, that was ballless. They showed us that when that happened, I was like, oh, yes, that's really good. But this show had no backbone, guys. The fact that all the characters from Danganronpa 1 survived, characters from other video games survived, and only one of the new characters survived. That, to me, was a weird balance. But that is such a minor thing, guys. We have finished this Danganronpa 3 reviews. I don't know if I'll ever do reviews like this again, guys, because this has been tough to get through all this. But, really enjoyed the future arc. I did enjoy the despair arc, guys. And I'm sorry about my ranting. Quite frankly, my ranting in the previous episodes has also been affected by my mood of what's been happening in my life as well, guys. So in those videos, I probably was more negative than I should have been. And so thank you all so much for your opinions in the comments, and you put me right in certain places as well. I needed that in certain times. And yes, I love every single one of you guys. I really do appreciate you guys sticking with me, because this has been a long time coming, this video, guys. Now we can start V3. I believe Steam gave me a minor spoiler for V3, but it's very minor, guys. It's very, very minor. Basically, it's something that I predicted, which I believe now has been confirmed. But yes, we'll get into that soon. And I can't wait, guys. Finally, we're back to the games. It's been a long time coming. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm VEGGIEKNIGHTS, and I'll see you next time.